in that dark carnival that is my mind. And hopefully we'll have a few more of those. Welcome. Probably haven't seen my face for a while. Like that music? It's great. Um, you'll notice that I had to use whatever music that they provided because I couldn't use the actual Bauhaus song "Dark Entries," which is a fantastic track, and that would really be a good entry for that. But I can't because then YouTube will take it down and everything like that. So we'll figure that out as we go along. I just wanted to I kept having like all these ideas, and something would pop in my head, and I would like write it down, and I'd be like, well, where am I gonna relay this information, and to whom? I think people that I text with are probably sick of listening to me and me bouncing stuff off them that doesn't really go anywhere. But so I just thought, you know what? I have the capability to do this. This is really easy. I can just set this up through StreamYard and it'll go right on my YouTube page and you can watch it if you want. And part of the reason why I'm doing this is because maybe if you had noticed or you had followed me on Twitter, and Twitter was really my space for a long time. I have not been on there for a long time, and I have not posted on there, and a couple reasons why. The main one is because Elon is just a pig fucker. That's really comes down to it, a con man pig fucker, and I just don't really feel like contributing to his bullshit anymore. I still have an account somewhere, but it's like an unknown private account. I don't follow anyone I know. I only have it for fantasy football information, and that's what I use it for, just to make sure that I'm, of course, up on my fantasy football information and knowledge and current events. I'll probably talk about a little fantasy football at the end of this, just because it is fantasy football draft season. But yeah, so Twitter just became a big bummer for me, and and it just was like just the grievances and all, just kind of the people arguing, and trust me, I have contributed to that myself. I've spread doom and gloom all over that frickin' site. So I am not saying I'm better than anyone else. I'm just saying I had enough. I had a tough spring with like a sick pet, and we had a major house cost, and I just was like, I can't do it. I just can't do it anymore. The Avalanche and the Nuggets were getting bounced from the playoffs, and that was just nothing but doom and gloom over that. And I was kind of like, you know what? I can't feed into it. I can't do it. And so I took a step away. So if you're wondering, that's why if you haven't seen me on there. It's funny because people will text me and go, oh, what about did you see this, whatever, and I'm like, no, I didn't, because I haven't been on there. And someone texted me the other day about the Venezuelan gang problem in Aurora, and all the people freaking out about it. And the main thing is that Vic Lombardi was tangling with people. And if you don't know who Vic Lombardi is, he's a well-known Denver sportscaster, beloved, been around forever, excellent at what he does. And I guess he was going off on it because people were like screaming and crying about these Venezuelan gangs that have taken over all of Aurora. Well, I work in Aurora, so I'm there all the time, and I don't see the Venezuelan gangs roaming. I could be wrong. I might not be in the right parts. But no, Vic is a really good guy, and he's been, anytime I've hung out with him, he's been nothing but nice and generous to me. He told me, though, that he was like, look, I'm an Italian. I like to fight with people. That's just what I do. And so that's why he kind of comes across that way sometimes, is kind of combative. And that's fine. I get that. And so I guess everybody was freaking out over stuff he said, and I don't really care what he said. I just think that this is there might very well be a gang problem there. There's already other gangs there now, and there always has been. So the fact that all of a sudden a new gang showed up doesn't surprise me. But it just, this comes from like always like a right-wing talking point, and that's my only problem with it, is that if the right wingers are bringing something up without really investigating it or knowing anything about it, like I saw people commenting about this when I looked into it, and they're just people who aren't even from here. They've never been to Aurora, and they have no idea what's going on. So anytime you get one of those talking points that comes up, and people start running with it, you always have to like question what the motive is. Now, the other end of it, the other side of it, seems to be quite extreme too, and and everybody just starts fighting, and everyone's getting, likes to dig into each other. Everybody's got an axe to grind, and it just kind of goes nowhere and just creates a lot of ill will. And I just don't, I don't want to be a part of that. I used to love to fight. I used to antagonize people all the time, but maybe I'm just too old now. I don't know. But I just, the thought of getting in the middle of something like that really does not boggle my scrotum, as they say. I used to do the thing all the time where I would pretend that John Elway, who's right there, by the way, Mach 7, he would that he was still the GM. He hadn't been the GM for years, and people would they would flip out, and they would just be like, "He's not the GM. He's not." They would start yelling and screaming at me, and it was hilarious. But then it was almost like, it really sucks when a moron thinks you're a bigger moron than they do. And that I always had a problem with. And I'd be like, I don't want to do this anymore either, because this fucking idiot thinks I'm an idiot. So yeah, that wasn't really anything that I wanted to, engage in. But Twitter has really become like a kind of a right-wing echo chamber since Musk took it over. If you look at all the ads, it's all that stuff. And I know that he felt like he was left out, and that's why he bought it, so he could be like the cool kid in there. And now it just seems like a cesspool. And other than, a lot of people that I like are on there. I'd love to keep in touch with them. Maybe there's other ways to do that. I just don't want to contribute to Elon's Nazi party. Basically, it's a lemon Nazi party, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at, and that's why I'm deciding to do this, because I'll just get a thought and I'll be like, you know what? Excuse me, I'm drinking beer too, by the way. It's a holiday weekend, so I'm gonna have a couple of these. And I gotta talk about my smell at one point. My smell changed, but maybe that'll be for the next episode. That's fascinating too. I know everyone wants to hear about my smell. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at, and that's why I wanted to do this. People kept asking us if we were doing the South Stands fan cast anymore, and Colin had asked me and Scott if we were going to do it. I don't know. We kind of did it last year for the Broncos season. It was fun. But you know what? I'm in my house. I don't have to leave. I don't have to go anywhere. It's kind of nice. I kind of like that. No real editing involved. I don't have to go back and turn it into an MP3 and post it to a website. So that might win out. I don't know. We're gonna see. This is fun so far, and I'm 8 minutes in or so, and that's seems to be going pretty good. Speaking of that world, the DNVR is doing great. They just expanded to Dallas, and while I'm no fan of anything in Dallas, they killed the president after all, way back when. It's great that Spano and crew are doing well. The All City Network is expanding to all these different cities. It started with DNVR, and it's going gangbusters for him, and I think that's great. I've known Spano for a long time. A lot of the other guys that work there I've gotten to know too. But nothing but wish them success. It's awesome. I honestly, as somebody who when the internet kind of came of age, everything was free. You didn't pay for anything. It was all there. And it just seemed like it would be free forever. And I remember there was something like somebody had a hoax where it was like, Microsoft's going to charge you 25 cents for every email or something like that. And I was like, okay, that's bullshit. One, but two, no one's ever going to do that. And I just thought providing content on there, you just put stuff out for free. Oh, you sell advertising. I never thought, as a very early user of the internet that a subscription based thing would take off. And I just thought, oh, people aren't going to pay for this. But really, that's how it's gone. I mean, that's how everything is. And if you put out something really good, people will pay for it. And I think it's great that they're doing that. It's great that it's gone on so long, and they're kicking ass and doing nothing but expanding. So yeah, all the luck to those guys. I hope it keeps on trucking for them. The lighting in this, I had an overhead light on, or kind of an overhead light, and it looked pretty good. But then I turned this other light that's kind of in front of me on. It almost looks like I'm it's like somebody who like blew themselves up at like a concert or something, like their last their last like transmission before they did that. So might have to work on the lighting. I know it's still light outside, so that's causing a little bit of problems, but I think it looks okay, other than my glasses, which I don't wear all the time. It's kind of reflecting off that, but I think it's good. So, but you can see there's the Elway, Star Wars, there's Sticky Fingers, and then here are the my trophies. That's the fantasy football trophy of a league I've had for 20 years, and that is Lord Bolding's Cup. That's my three-peat fantasy hockey trophy. And everyone needs to recognize my great accomplishments there. So what was the other thing I was going to do? I had something else. See, I can't see anything now because now I don't have any light in here. Yeah, and so I was just going to finish up by saying about paying for stuff. I think that's great, and if that's the content you want, and you want to get that right away, you don't want to have to mess with a bunch of ads. It's always great. I do resent being nickel and dimed to death by everything now. I mean, just constantly everything. And that has to stop, but I know it won't. So, but I was thinking on the sports level. CU, a lot of people love the CU out there. I don't. I'm not a fan, never have been. And it's not just because I went to CSU, because I don't like college football at all. I don't follow it. But there was the whole thing recently. This is another thing that I hadn't really engaged with, but I kind of caught wind of later, was the whole thing about Coach Prime banning Sean Keeler from the Post, from his press conferences, or they weren't going to ask him, they were going to answer any questions from him or something like that. And all these people were like, oh, they're clutching their pearls about how could you do this? This is the press and everything like that. Look, I'm no Deion fan at all. Like, I don't like Deion Sanders. I think he's a scumbag, and never have liked him. I'm happy for all my friends who like CU and are enjoying the success or the accolades that are coming their way. But I don't like Deion. But and in this instance, I think he's right, because the guys at the Post suck, and said this all along. They're kind of belligerent, and they just they start shit. And I don't know if this guy did or not. They said he was like some personal attacks. I have not looked into it, I have to admit that. But just knowing their track record and like how they've employed, they employed Mark Kisla for so long. Yeah, I can see that. And I think if you did have the power to do that, you would turn those guys away, because they are kind of cocks. And I think they get away with a lot, and they have, because they were the Denver Post for so long. But now with other things like the aforementioned DNVR and things like that, you know what? You don't need the Denver Post. And I don't really know who reads the Denver Post anymore, other than old folks. And if Sean Keeler is going to start shit, then sorry, buddy. I think you might be left out in the cold. Maybe you should think about what you're saying. But yeah, that's all good. Even though it's Deion doing it, don't want to give him any credit. But the Post has had it coming for a long time, and it's good. I think they deserve to be knocked down a few pegs, because they probably won't be around much longer anyway. So I said accolades earlier, and I had thought about I'm moving quick, folks. This is how we do it here. Trying not to waste too much of your time. I said accolades, and then I was thinking about the acolyte, and the acolyte is the the Star Wars show. This is another thing that it was on and I just couldn't I couldn't comment on. Hold on. I've done a few solo shows, and the main thing, the hardest thing about it was finding time to drink, because if you're doing a show with somebody else, and I think I can just add people in, so this will be cool if somebody, wants to jump in and chat with me, it'd be great. You have somebody else there, when they're talking, that's when you take your drink. But when you're talking the whole time, you're going to have a problem taking a drink. So we'll just have another one while I'm drinking Budweiser, which when I get into my smell next time, I'm going to talk about my smell in depth. There's a reason I'm doing these ongoing experiments, and it involves beer, kinds of beer, and different things like that. It's fascinating. You guys are going to love to hear it. So I'm going to save that for next time. The Acolyte, the Star Wars show, just got canceled. They just said, no more of the Acolyte. And that's great. It was awful. It was really terrible. And so it just got canceled. And I remember I watched it as it started. And so there's something where I can I think I can, like, oh yeah, there it is. There's Dave. I'm drinking white wine and emptying the dishwasher. That's fantastic. See, that's exactly this is exactly the demographic I'm looking for. I'm looking for people like that are sitting at home. They've done the damage to themselves. They're done going out. They want to sit at home and they want to watch someone who's probably older than they are sit here and talk about Star Wars shows. Yes, back to that. And so I watched the first one, and the first three, sorry, and I stopped. I was like, this is terrible. Now, the big complaint is a lot of the chuds out there were saying this is woke trash. Now, if anyone calls anything woke trash, let's just get this out of the way first. If anyone says something's woke trash and that's why they're upset with it, you do not have to listen to them anymore. You just stop. Just stop. Discount everything they said. They could tell you that the fucking sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and you can probably discount that if they're going that route. If they're discounting someone because they say it's woke trash, don't need to trust their opinion anymore. And their big problem was that, oh, there's a female lead, there's a person of color, there's lesbian witches, and blah blah. That's not why this was bad. This was bad because it was bad writing, bad storytelling. The main character had like an evil twin, and she's an evil twin. She's the one doing the bad stuff. Really, really fucking dumb. And it sucked. And so I picked it back up. I said, I'm going to give it another chance. I'm going to watch it. Every one of the action scenes, lightsaber battles, awesome. Very cool. Very well done. Look great. And it was exactly what you wanted. If you like that kind of thing, you're like, this is fantastic. This is really good. But the story, just fucking terrible, like really bad. And it was really propped up because the dumb chuds were saying it was woke trash. Everybody else was saying, this is a good show, and people don't like it because they politically, they blah, 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 blah. No, it's bad. It sucked. It was a really shitty show. And it's baffling how they can't get this right. And if you've watched a lot of the Star Wars stuff, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like the Book of Boba Fett was fucking awful. Everybody likes the Mandalorian, but even that kind of was falling off a little bit. Andor was great. Really good show. It was fantastic. I can't get people to watch. I'm like, you got to watch Andor. No, because they think everything else is bad, which it is. The Obi-Wan show was okay. It started pretty slow, got better at the end, but it's like, man, you know what? Just find somebody to write these things that they're just going to, give you something that's going to kick ass. I can't figure it out. And so it got canceled. And so all these people were like, saying, oh, it needed another chance. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, and here's my good pal, Captain Bronco. He's a big fan of Andor. Welcome in, Captain. It's good to see you. So until they can improve these shows, I just don't know. Everybody's going to jump on the fact that they think it's woke trash. They're going to use that as an excuse to discount it when that's not the case at all. The She-Hulk show, the Marvel show, was on Disney Plus as well. And That was a great show. And but no one never gave it the time of the day because they were like, oh, it's feminist bullshit again. Come on, man. No, it was good. It was unlike anything else they've put out. It was entertaining. If you're not into that, if you don't like that, then you're probably not going to like it to begin with. What people don't realize with comic book stuff is comic books are really cheesy. If you read comic books, like they're pretty fucking corny, man. And they've made these shows that are a little better than the comic books, I think. But when they get real corny, it's kind of like, well, that's a comic book thing. That's exactly what happens in it. So they don't get the chance because people are focusing on the wrong things. But that's just kind of how it goes. So other people are talking about Andor. What'd you say here, Dave? I didn't get Andor because I never saw. Oh, come on. Well, all right, that's all right. You gotta see Rogue One. Well, no, don't see Rogue One. Watch Andor first. Now watch Rogue One because that takes place after Andor. So, yeah. So everybody's got their own opinion. But if you write a crappy show, it's just not gonna work either way. So, yeah, I speaking of TV, I've been rewatching Lost. Now, I don't know if you watched Lost when it was in its original run. It started in 2004, and actually September 22nd of this year is the 20th anniversary of the plane going down. It went down on September 22nd, 2004. I got into the fourth season. I kind of lost a little steam in mid fourth season, but I cruised through the first three. If you watched it, another thing, the big finale was controversial. People just didn't like it, and it seems like that's a theme, right? All these shows, these big shows that people like, and the finales are always crap. Kind of the same thing with Lost. I've only seen it the one time, so I'm gonna watch it again, obviously when I finish it, and I will have a better grasp on it this time just to see. Beer break. Um, Watching it again, that first season is fantastic. It's really good. Like there's some really heavy emotional moments. Like you're like it's really it affects you while you're watching it. They did such a good job with it. It gets a little kind of. I haven't watched anything on network TV in probably so long. It's probably one of the last things I watched on actual network TV. I mean, other than Young Sheldon, of course. And it has that kind of network TV, ABC drama kind of bent to it when they do a lot of the flashbacks and everything. But it's supposed to help the characters, the characters along and everything like that. But it's really good. I was so wrapped up in it when I watched it. And there's a couple of them I don't remember. And I think what I was doing, I was working really late around that time, and I was getting home late. And I was cracking beers and watching. I had TiVo'd Lost. I would TiVo it, and I would watch it after I get home. And then I was wide awake from working all night, and so then I would drink a bunch of beers. And a couple of them I don't really remember, and I'm just wondering if I don't think I missed an episode. I just think I think I missed an episode, if you know what I mean. Yeah, Young Sheldon, baby. We're gonna shout out Young Sheldon. We're really missing Young Sheldon these days. I don't know. I hope one of these new spin-offs come on soon, because I need some more Sheldon. I need some more Sheldon of the Sheldon shared universe. I need some of that. I need to see more from the Sheldon Cooper. Is his name Sheldon Cooper? Whatever his last name is. I need to see more from that family. I love the Sheldon universe, and I need more. But yeah, Lost is good. I'm enjoying it, and having to sift through it. Like that's when they made a lot of TV. That was one of the last. I mean, maybe they still do. I don't know, but like Lost season 1 is like 28 episodes, and I was just like, holy crap! Like most things are like 6 episodes now, and you watch anything on like Hulu, and it's like 6 episodes, and they're a half hour pop, and it's like not much TV, and they get it done. So I think our attention spans have suffered, and now our TV seasons have suffered because of it. So I was just thinking of Shoresy. If you've seen Shoresy, it's very good, and that's like 6 episodes, and you just crank right through it. It's like really easy to do the whole thing. maybe one of these days we'll get back to that. But I think people's attention spans are not coming back. I think that's what we can. I think that's what we can glean from a lot of what's going on today. So hopefully, at least maybe they'll do more than 6 episodes of a show like Shorzy. And I don't know. We'll talk some TV, throughout, because hey, I'm always watching TV. Always got stuff going on like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think I got most of my list. Oh, I know. There was a thing. What is his name? There's a song. It's called Sweet Soul Music. This is just something that popped in my head the other day. I woke up and I was singing that song, and he says, "Do you like good music?" That's like how it starts. And I kept going through my head, and it's Sweet Soul Music. It's Anthony Conley. It's 1967. And I just kept thinking, who doesn't? I mean, everybody thinks they like good music, right? So if I ask you, hey, do you like good music? You'd be like, well, yes, of course I like good music. All the music I like is great. So I don't know what he was getting at there, and it just kind of bothered me one morning. I was like, why is he, like, what are you going to say? No, I don't. No, I don't like good music. I don't. I like shitty music, and I'm not sure what not sure what you're getting at with this line of questioning, but yeah, that's just one thing that I had thought about that other day. So folks, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm close to a half hour. I don't think I want to bore anyone anymore, but let's do this again. This seemed to work pretty good, and I think we can continue on with it. It's quick and easy for me to do. I'm gonna have a couple more of these. Have a great Labor Day weekend, everyone, and we will try to get back to it next time. So this was John Reidy's Dark Entries. I am John Reidy, by the way. I didn't introduce myself, I guess, but you probably knew that if you tuned in. But yes, until next time, adios.